The leader of the tournament, Jorden van Foreest, makes his way to the game. He's currently leading the Prague Masters 2026 with a score of 5 points out of 7. An absolutely phenomenal performance by the Dutch Grandmaster, who is very close to hitting 2750 and also entering the top 10 in the world. He now has the white pieces against Aravindh Chithambaram there, the Indian Grandmaster, who is having a pretty decent event. He is on 3 points out of 7 and would be looking to win this game to bring it to 50% score. Jorden is half a point ahead of the field. Nodirbek Abdusattorov is on 4.5. A very important game from the tournament perspective. The players shake hands and pawn to e4 by Jorden. Aravindh now deciding on what his move should be. With Aravindh, one thing is certain. There's always going to be entertainment. There's always going to be fun. He has had 2 wins already in this tournament against Hans Niemann and Gukesh, and now pawn to c5, clearly showcasing his intentions for a fighting game. The Sicilian is on the board. A knight comes out to f3. And now knight to c6 played. And white goes knight to c3. We have the 4 knights coming in. Jorden playing knight c3 so that he doesn't have to go into the Sveshnikov variation, which would have happened after pawn to d4, the open Sicilian. So he goes knight c3, knight to f6, and now bishop b5. This is a very tricky line because you are putting pressure here in the center, quickly wanting to castle. Queen c7 is the main move, and now castling is the main move in the position, but Jorden plays bishop takes c6, which is not so popular or well known. Now you can take with the b pawn or the d pawn, but taking with the d pawn is much better. He takes it, opening up the bishop, and now d4 by Jorden. In some ways, this entire strategy looks a bit flawed because you have given your opponent the bishop pair and now you are opening up the position. But actually, it makes sense because you have the lead in development. You're quickly going to castle or bring your bishop out and long castle even. Queen takes d4 taken. And so you're playing for these imbalances here. And now bishop to g4, attacking the knight on f3, and the idea is to take it and push the pawn to e5 perhaps. Maybe white can push e5 himself. But Jorden going for the queen plays queen e5. Okay, mainly his point is if you take, I take, and maybe bishop e6. This could be a viable way to play the position for black. But Aravindh goes queen d6 and he tells Jorden, please trade it here so that I have this structure and my bishop can come out. Jorden asks Aravindh to trade it on his territory with queen g3, edge g3, opening the h file, and Aravindh first chops off the knight on f3. So bishop takes f3 taken. And now queen takes on f3, and black can play here long castle, but that doesn't seem right. e5 is correct. If you play long castle, the a7 pawn is a bit soft. So e5, short castle, and I think Aravindh can go bishop e7 and short castle as well. So he does play it. And so from having this imbalance of 2 bishops versus lead in development, now it's become even because he's given up his bishop and he plays queen e6. I believe he could have even castled, but then knight g3 looking here, Anyway, the knight is coming to f5. So g6 stops the knight from jumping in. And he goes queen b3, attacking the pawn on b7, offering a trade of queens. Aravindh takes it, queen takes queen, a takes b3, opening up the rook here. And now bishop to c5. He puts his bishop on this beautiful diagonal, Aravindh. And in some ways, this knight on g3 is a bit dominated by the pawn here on g6. I guess the knight doesn't have great fortune. It was on c3 when it was a bit dominated by the c6 pawn. So that brings us to this point. Yeah, whenever a knight is kind of dominated by a pawn 2 squares away from it, it's important to change the knight's placement. Knight d7. Coming back with the idea of f6, king e7. He brings the rook to d1. And now f6 played. And of course, if you take here, I take bishop f6, that's not going to work because now black is better. So he plays bishop to d2 and king comes up to e7. So black has finished their development and the position should be even. I believe Jorden would be happy with a draw here. But as chess is more about the will of two players rather than just objective evaluation of the position, I think both of them might want to play, especially because Nodirbek Abdusattorov has an advantage against David Navara. So knight c1, bishop goes back to d6. And now knight d3, bishop e3. This seems like a natural way to play. He goes b4 first. Interesting move. He's trying to keep the pressure here. Also, maybe at some point he may want to start pushing his queenside pawns. But Aravindh starts to get active on the king side. He plays f5. And knight to b3 played. The point being that if you take fe, this pawn will fall eventually. Knight a5 is quite an irritating move here. So knight f6 played by Aravindh. He's putting pressure on the e4 pawn now. Serious pressure. Jorden takes, g takes f5 and knight jumps into a5. Now looking at these two pawns on b7 and c6, rook comes up to d7. And maybe simply bishop g5. Knight c4, eyeing the bishop and the pawn. He comes back, bishop c7, looking to double down the d file. The rook comes to e1. So all of a sudden, Jorden has shifted his attention to the e5 pawn. The king comes up and you can't take here because later the bishop is also hanging. So he first plays bishop e3, saving the bishop. e4 played by Aravindh and bishop to b6. Wow, that's a very nice move. You can't take with the pawn. The rook is hanging here and knight d5 played. So bishop takes bishop, rook takes, very important move. And now f3 played to just get rid of these pawns. Aravindh takes on b4 and he's eyeing these pawns. Rook e2 played. And now b5. The game is getting very sharp. Knight a5. Time wise, both players have 4 minutes. They need to make 8 more moves to hit move 40. Take on e4. Anyway, the pawn is being lost, so he goes f4 and creates the e5 square for his king. The knight comes back to b3 and looking at the c5 pawn. Rook d8. Black pieces do look more active. c3 with 5 more moves to go to reach move 40. Knight jumps into d3. And now rook a6 check. He Comes back, king f7 and e5 played. The e pawn is pushing ahead and rook e7. He goes even further, e6. The king comes up to f6 and knight to d2. Well, the knight is coming in. If you take on b2, there is knight e4 and you are in trouble. So king f5. Aravindh moves ahead. Time pressure is done now. Knight f3, 40th move done. Jorden gets up. Aravindh has to make his final move in 40 seconds. He goes rook d5, a move that's fine, and the position is still even. But I can say that so much has happened. The e pawn, both a strength and a weakness. The knight on d3, absolutely beautiful. The rook blocking the pawn, also defending the pawn. This rook is doing a great job of a defender. And he goes rook c6. I mean, it's clear right now. It feels that white is the one who's trying. I'm also wondering how will black create counterplay here. King f6. And pawn to g4 played. F takes, g3 en passant. He goes back, h takes g3. And a5. Black tries to expand on the queen side. The king comes up to g2. And now a4 played. The rook moves back, eyeing the a pawn, and b4, pushing forward. He takes b, and if you take on a4, you lose the e6 pawn, but I think Jorden is fine with it. The game is kind of moving towards equality. Well, at least visually it does feel that black is more active because of the knight on d3, but I think it's nothing. Just pawn to b3, saving the pawn. He goes g4, because if you take on b2, I can take on b4, so rook comes back. And pawn to b3 played. He comes up, king to d5, and check, king e4. The king moves up to g3. Well, what's going to happen next? Time pressure is coming again. 4 minutes to Aravindh. This time no increments are going to be there. I mean, time increments. There will be a 30-second increment per move. Rook f5, knight to c1. He's eyeing the e2 square for a check. Rook f4. And now king e3. Yeah, moves ahead. And there's a big fork coming. So knight d4, stopping the check. King d3 played. Maybe going towards the c3 pawn. He wants to win that pawn. King h4. Jorden is going to the h pawn. Oh, this is going to be a big fight. Rook b6, stopping the king from coming ahead. Rook f1, attacking the knight on c1. The knight goes to a2. Well, it's coming to c3. They're not trading pieces. They want to keep fighting. Rook f4. And now knight to c3 with 2 minutes, 30 seconds for Aravindh. 4 minutes for Jorden. Jorden goes knight to f3. And now king e3, attacking the rook. Oh my goodness, things are now becoming tough. Rook f8 needs to be played. He goes rook f5, a huge blunder by Jorden. Huge blunder. Now rook h6 check is winning the game. Why? Because if king g5, I go rook h3 and knight e4 is a mate and the knight is hanging. Both cannot be averted. And if I give a check and you go king g3, the knight e2 check. all of a sudden starts to work and he finds it. Rook h6 check is on the board. And look at Jorden there. He can't believe from a completely equal position he comes back king g3. And now knight e2 check is the trick. By the way, here rook h3 and imagine knight e5, knight e4 is a checkmate. He comes here, knight e2 check. And if king g2, knight f4. If king goes back, you lose the knight. If king comes up, rook h3 is a mate. Knight e2 check, game over. It's incredible play by Aravindh Chithambaram. Like a magician there, he turned it around. Jorden resigns. And in that final time trouble, Aravindh Chithambaram found some incredible moves. And I must give it to the will of both these players. They are such big fighters. They want to keep the game going. They wanted to keep finding new ideas, new resources. And in the end, well, Aravindh Chithambaram has won his third game in this tournament. He moves to 4 points, which is a good score for him. And we'll leave you with his interview with Keti Satsalashvili.
We have in the studio Grandmaster Aravindh, who won his game against the sole leader of Prague International Chess Festival, Jorden van Foreest. That was quite an event, and I assume that you have emotions, and it has been quite tough. If you can just describe your situation right now, what do you feel?
I don't know, like this tournament has been, like completely like topsy-turvy. Like I'm like, for instance, like yesterday I was completely winning and like I played a very good game, but with one single move I like lost that advantage. It's it's a like tough tournament, like but yeah, also I'm playing good. Like I'm happy about that part. Maybe I could have converted like 1 or 2 questions like in the previous game, but like I'm happy with it overall.
We have seen the game from the very beginning, of course, and then suddenly the game has finished, and we could not really see on the digital board what has happened. So you are one of 2 people who knows what has happened, and if you can please show us the final part, and also if you can describe before what was happening in the game.
So like in the opening, he surprised me with d4, which I'm not like aware of. I don't know where it is. Here it is. But I think that I don't know if I reacted well. I took on d4 and played queen bishop g4. Maybe it was not script. I guess maybe I spent almost half an hour like to go queen e5. I don't know, but I could not like refute it. For white. But yeah, like I think the next critical moment like came at the end. I think it was like equal like almost throughout the game. But at the end, like I was trying to put some pressure on the b pawn, and maybe he could have actually at this point played knight to f5 actually. Here, yeah, I could actually play knight f5, I thought, and the position should be equal, I guess. But I think the crucial mistake was knight f3. I think like after rook h6, actually his king is in on the table. Also, like all of his pieces are like uncoordinated, and I think I guess I'm sorry, I played king e3 first. Yeah, I think he is losing one of his pieces, I guess. Like, I'm not sure that. And yeah, I won the game. Rook h6 and
can you please show us the very final?
And rook f5. Maybe he could have tried rook f8, but I thought like rook h6, king g5, and rook h1. This is what I was calculating. It was like rook h3, then the f3 square is protected after d4, and I could not see a difference here. But with rook f5, I think I had to go. I think he played king g3, but like it loses on the spot, like with knight e2. If king g5 now, I think I have to go rook h3, because like his his rook is like preventing his white king from going.
It's a checkmate then, 94.
Yes, yes, yes.
Wow, that's nice.
So
Can you show that for the viewers? Like, let's say 95 and
yeah, 94.
yeah, it's beautiful.
Like all of a sudden, his pieces, pieces like were uncoordinated and like also he got into this like meeting net, which was actually surprising. Yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah, was all of this because he lined up these pieces like that, or maybe he let you to activate the king even further, although your king was always very active in this game. What was because while we were looking at this game, it was always like equal by the engine, and we thought that okay, this game gonna probably end, but when you're playing the game, it's a totally different feeling and evaluation, right? So what do you think was his mistake here that you won the game?
Maybe like title pressure, maybe I guess. Like also he was Abdul Sattar was winning like with black, so that could have like put him under pressure. Like he maybe wanted to win this game desperately. As maybe it could be his like last one, I guess. But,
Yeah, that's true.
so that could be one of the reasons. Like he over pushed, I guess. But I mean, the game should have ended in a draw. To be honest, it's. But I don't know at which point he actually overpushed, but like it's hard to say which moment. But yeah, he would have taken the draw, I guess.
Yeah, and this final sequence that you showed that you were winning the piece, something very similar also happened in the other game of Abdul Sattar and David Nalora in the very last moment when it was equal position. Were you aware of that, or you just didn't have much time to look to the other game?
So I was playing in like minutes, so like of course I did not have time to look at the other game, and also when I saw that like no, I'm actually checkmating his king. Like I mean I did not actually like look at any other boards, like to be honest.
Right, and take this. What is your take now? Everything just changed in the for the last round, and tomorrow we're gonna have a morning round. So it is such a mess that we have as usual, and you are the one who actually did the job to change the settings of the round. Is there any just to share your thought what is happening now?
I mean, like, anyways, I'm not. I mean, like, I don't think I can win the tournament, right? Like, it's impossible. So I'm not thinking anything about it actually. Yeah, like, I just want to play like good game tomorrow.
And tomorrow will be the morning round. Do you like morning rounds, or it's tough for you? And what will be like the schedule for you for the preparation and the rest?
I think of course like I have to change my routine a bit. Like we're playing like round at 3 and like suddenly like changing like the round to 11. We have to change our routine as well. But I think we are used to this. I guess like I've been playing for years, so I think it's not going to affect much. But I think more than preparation, I think I will take rest. Like also.
Well, I wish you to have a good rest, and tomorrow another good game, and best of luck.
Thank you.